Initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious. Ali is happy when Moors are happy. Vixens wink fake lashes trying to trap me. 40 days and nights battling the lower demons. This is not the land, hybrids can't be free men. If this is not their land, who's the immigrant thinking they're sovereign? Imagination figment, recessive is their status, lacking pigment. Game for the Thanksgiving, but no commitment to indigenous Moors they conquered with Bibles, signs in the vitals and signs in the cycles, only to strangle, embracing my rivals. Free national standards, not playing with the tribals. Each Moor is their own Christ, not disciples. Whether hands or thoughts, no worshiping idols. Always carry my Moorish Quran or recitals. Everyone will not process ancients' arrivals. Initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious.
Innate mystic ability to show and prove a lesson, coupled with the agility to move you with the message, presence of divine mind to navigate you with a reference, urgent with a purpose, perfect. Emergent urban legends, real Moors, not a question or a choice or a preference. You are who you are, you should have the same obsession. Broke the same jewels to a dude, the corner, Jane and Western. What you reppin', all that effort, that direction, keep you separate in a world of blind sheep. I was born to be a shepherd, mind like an elephant. Got the paws of a leopard, means I'm wise and I'm strong. Crank you up like I'm a record, take you to the body shop, correct your lines to true vector manifestations. Matter, energy, and mind, spirit men unsung. Trey Young dropping dimes until you tighten up, you catching splinters from the pine. Clean the clouds out your thoughts, that's what keep you in the bind.
Initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious initiates of the sacred brotherhood of elite MCs. Raw mysterious. This is what it feels like. 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 People running up to me that I don't know. Are you a prince? They ask, tell them I'm from Morocco. Look me up and down with a smile, not a frown. Turn their brain to water, watch the lower self drown. Wanna touch my antennas and steal my energy. Eyes bulge, telling them I'm always King Edward V. When it comes to facts, with Moors they get beggarly. They ask Morocco where? The farthest northwesterly. With every question asked, I respond cleverly. All dependents won't explain expertly. Going in their wallets, pull out pictures with feathers, breaking down the ring, then the mason confesses. He's at 33 degrees, now the convo stretches like yoga into esoteric metaphysic lessons. When my people aren't like me, he impresses. When we take more science to the highways and hedges. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
They tried to get you to think again. That's the profit. I'm upright, don't need a friend. And you can't stop this. I'ma write with my pen. Violate me and I'ma send writs again. Remain cautious, cause often they sin again. That's in the police out, just the silence men. When they bust through your door, you won't breathe again. Nationality will show you how to live again. It can change the predicament you're living in. You can heal the whole world without medicine. Only truth can make you a better man. Why lie? Cause you got paid to murder men. Then you try to lock them up when they riot in. That's okay, cause for freedom I'm diving in. With no knowledge you come back to die again. Resurrect me not, cause I'd rather be one with Allah.
This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Here we go. Raka! North Star! That way, the North Star's that way. Canaanland moves. Read off, he pay every day. Oh. That way, the North Star's that way. Canaanland moves. Read off, he pay every day. Okay. Uplift the V, cause we all base. We enforce the law. And we obey. Forefathers from before and still today. Reading my Quran and my Torah. Raka! North Star! That way. The North Star's that way. Canaanland moves. Read off, he pay every day. Okay. Uplift the V, cause we all base. We enforce the law. And we obey. Forefathers from before and still today. Reading my Quran and my Torah. Universal laws in more rays. Read 4 chapters, receive it 4 ways. Great divine love rules our verse. Before I circle blocks, man, I circle 7s first. You bust the image, but your rhymes hurt. You clear 13 disrespected earth. Love, but it's all in God's plan. Today's mathematics don't judge a man. Unity of life, embodiment of truth. I'm responsible for every deed, cause I seen the proof. No, but Drew X, do I have to draw it out for you? Cause nationality is not a color I can use. Jerry Spruce, standing on my square, even without shoes. On the highest authority, spirit of blue. Marcus Coffee, whirlwind times 2. The world's in the wind when the trumpet blew.
Stand up, go into your bathroom. If you got a big floor to ceiling, cut the light on and stand and take a good hard look at yourself. You are the worst government, you know, and it took me a long time to get to understand that concept. I self-law am master. If I can govern myself, if I can govern my household, that's what I should be doing. Why should I walk out of my door and then leave everything that I know about myself in the house to go out and adopt something that I have no knowledge thereof? Offense. So we need to stop asking that question. I ask myself this question: if not me, then who?
Death and wisdom, my friends, intelligent creatures, guardians of sacred knowledge, Olmecan features, secrets of the afterlife, manifest the present day. Dirty Moors and scoundrels lose their heads in a pleasant way. Deceit and deception, negative past thoughts, keeps awareness on point, spirit messages never off, inner realizations, encounter the higher selves, next plane existence, explains my consistence. Without a foe you never know, so past most resistant. Divinity, my twin flame, side chick and mistress, metaphysic, kabbalistic, almaroc mystic, patriarch, papistics, make my thoughts sadistic, so indigenous, call me Americanistic, invoking the ancestors, Saracen cryptic, suns on rotation, flows ecliptic, shatter all illusions, reveal the realistic, sitting in the dark, holding the light marvelous, recognize the artifice, skin so carbonous, hair so antenna, I feel them from Vienna, myriad of virtues, lessons, and Reptilian henna, enlightenment seekers won't find it in mainstream. Focus as a laser, stay balanced like a beam. Not even a gymnast. Whenever I flip this, as above, so below, get out when within this. Don't think I'm a slave, cause I speak in English. Drew, I'll leave the water, watch your flames get extinguished. Living in your higher, lower self is relinquished. Reputation of master teachers, call it distinguished.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil little a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, repping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finish him.
Norris Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Fact slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Call it.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil little a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, repping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finish him.
Norris Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Fact slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. DA are feminists, stomped on by elephants. More like no prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book all maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness. No pestilence, ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Islam, peace and love. Welcome once again. Episode number 5, Canaanland Moor's Q&A Wednesdays. Q&A Wednesdays. If you have any questions, just put it in the chat in all caps. We got a couple emails as well. So of course we'll be dealing with any questions that you have. The first question that we had, what does the papal cross mean? So when you look up the papal cross, what should stand out to you the most is the 2 naked children on there. So why they have naked children on there is in the history of the Roman Catholic Church. So you don't worry about what papal crosses mean. You don't worry about them. Because if we're Moors, we would listen to what Noble Drew Ali said. And Noble Drew Ali told the Moors in our holy book, we as a clean and pure nation, descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion, which Pope is a god of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. And as you know, when you talk about the papal cross, first thing they're going to tell you that it's Christian. So if the papal cross is Christian, all right, if the papal cross is Christian, and we're supposed to give that stuff back, then give that stuff back. Now, what you're looking at as well is the AKA of the Pope's cross, which is also the triple cross. And you're talking about the stem with the 3 levels on it. Noble Drew Ali again teaches us that the 3 levels is belief, faith, and fruition. And we're supposed to cast away belief and faith and master fruition. So again, you leave that stuff to those people. You don't need to know the metaphysics of it and all that stuff. As soon as you pull up papal cross, you're going to see 2 European children on there, naked. That should let you know something about these people. Why they have naked children on their stuff? Unless that's how they get down. And if you don't get down like that, then there's no need to the metaphysics of the papal whatever. We don't even need to do that. I'm sure some modern Europeans already did that. You can do your research on the science of the papal cross or whatever to see where that goes. But we're supposed to be returning Christianity back. That's not our stuff. That's just what it is. There's nothing there like that because we're not Christian. We're Moors. And we know Christianity is what murdered our foremothers and forefathers. So we can leave that stuff alone. Because everybody wants to break down something, the movies, and wants the symbols broken down and wants the whatever. How about we break down what Drew Ali left us?
And again, going back again to Noble Drew Ali, chapter 46 of our Quran, the beginning of Christianity. The foundation of Christianity began in Rome. The Roman nations founded the first church, of whom crucified Jesus of Nazareth for seeking to redeem his people from under the Roman yoke and law. Jesus himself was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa. Seeking to redeem his people in those days from the pressure of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, Rome crucified him according to their law. Then Europe had peace for a long time until Muhammad I came upon the scene and fulfilled the works of Jesus of Nazareth. The holy teachings of Jesus was to the common people to redeem them from under the great pressure of the hands of the unjust, that the rulers and the rich would not oppress the poor. Also, that the lion and the lamb may lay down together and neither would be harmed when morning came. These teachings were not accepted by the rulers and the rich because they loved the principles of the Ten Commandments. Through the Ten Commandments, the rulers and the rich live while the poor suffer and die. The lamb is the poor people. The lion is the rulers and the rich. And through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, all men are one and equal to seek their own destiny and to worship under their own vine and fig tree, after the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers. All nations of earth in these modern days are seeking peace, but there is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, and it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being taught universally to all nations in all lands. So we're clear as day. We give this stuff back to them. Right? We're not Christian. So worry about what Circle 7 means. Worry about what Fez means. Worry about why the turban length and the turban width is certain dimensions. Why the wrapping of the turban is how it is. Why, anything Moorish. Wonder about that stuff. Research that. Find that out. Because that's where our salvation lies, in what our ancient foremothers and forefathers brought, not what some colonists' forefathers brought. Right? Pope and all that stuff, even though there was 3 Asiatic popes and all that, and we know Rome was our people at one time and all that stuff, this is a new era of time now. And all men must worship under their own vine and fig tree. And our own vine and fig tree is over here. This is our own vine and fig tree. Our own vine and fig tree is over here. So if that's not clear, you could ask your question again, or if you want some further dialogue with regard to that, I don't know how much more further we would have to go, but that's where that's at. Somebody said Lord Merkel sent me something for you to listen to. So like I was saying, I don't get down with Lord Merkel because he doesn't have any respect for the mothers, specifically rvbaypublications.com. He's gonna make his little songs and all that stuff, dissing RV Bay and whatever. So F Merkel, and if you didn't know, he already got his ass beat in the elevator at National Theater for disrespecting the mothers. when the muftis had to remove him from class for being a disruptor. And obviously his panties are still in a bunch. That's why he's sending you some stuff to send to me when he could just email the stuff to me directly. My email is the same email that we've been had forever. Canaanlandguide@gmail.com. Why didn't he send the stuff himself? And you were confused why it's so much back and forth. The problem is that everybody wants to look at the Moors who are righteous and the Moors who've been putting in work forever, look at them as we're against some of our brothers over there and all that stuff. Dirty Moors and traitors and sellouts and all of them, they're not my brothers. I can't talk for any other Moors. Myself, I don't mess around with dirty Moors. As soon as I realize they're dirty Moors, they're on the hit list. And there's no coming back from that unless they repent for all their BS that they used to do. So for Merkel to disrespect the mothers to their face and then get his ass beat in the elevator and then want to go call highwaymen on Moors and all that stuff because they left him bloody when he came out the elevator, we know that he's still mad and he's in his emotions. We don't play with emotions and feelings. F your feelings. Stop disrespecting the mothers because you got your ass beat for disrespecting the mothers. You don't need to talk anymore. You don't need to send Cujo anything to listen to or none of that. You don't need to hear anything. None of that. It's not needed. But if they're gonna go there, then they're gonna go there. That's on them. To do all that crap. But there's no need for it. You don't need to hear anything that he has for me to listen to or whatever. What the hell is he gonna put me on? This guy was Merkel, the Moor, and then he got his ass beat, and then he stopped being a Moor, and then he was walking around with baseball hats and all that stuff and being dumb nigger, and then now he's a Moor again. And they're selling silver and selling this and selling that now. And somebody's supposed to take them serious? Why? They already went back to the state where Prophet found them. And then now they're back again as Moors again? Stop it. Not taking any of these people serious. Not taking any of them serious. Zero. They could FOH. They'll go talk to some new Moors who don't know better. I already know better. Been there, done that. Right? Again, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat. How do you feel? And don't forget, put your questions in all caps so it doesn't get lost in the chat. Because as soon as I don't answer your question, then you're going to be dissing. He didn't answer my question and all that stuff when it's always put it in all caps. There's a reason for that. It's not just talking. There's a reason. Right? But I see your question, Denzel. How do you feel about immigrants illegally coming across the border? The only immigrants here are modern Europeans and people from across the Atlantic Ocean. Everybody on this side, they're indigenous to this land over here. There's no one from this side that's an immigrant. The only way that they're an immigrant is because colonists are the ones who are ruling. So because the land is occupied, the people's mindset is that some colonists are the government, and then the colonists are the ones who make the rules and set up the borders. So anybody else who isn't part of that, then that means they're an immigrant. No, they're not. The immigrants are the colonists. The immigrants are the ones who came from Europe over here, came from Africa over here, came from Australia, came from Asia, came from everywhere except America. Those are the immigrants. The immigrants are not the Mexicans. They're not the immigrants. The Mexicans are indigenous to this land. The Brazilians, the Chileans, anybody from South America, anybody from the islands, none of those people are immigrants here. The only immigrants here are the ones who came from across the Atlantic Ocean or across the Pacific Ocean to this side. Those are the immigrants. There's no immigrants here like that. Right? Zero. The only immigrants here are the modern European colonists who are posing, who are pretending to be government, who are pretending to be the ones in charge here. Those are the only immigrants. So I think that it's some BS that they're playing that game. That say putting up walls and all this type of BS to stop people from traveling in their own land. But then Europeans who they came here through Ellis Island and all that. The Europeans who came here through Nova Scotia and all that stuff, they're not saying that they're immigrants, but they're gonna say some people who been here for multiple hundreds of thousands of years are immigrants? No. Somebody's playing games. Don't let them play games with you. Support our brothers and sisters in the Southlands that are being misclassified as immigrants. They're not immigrants. If you see them, put them on game that they're indigenous to the land. And then keep in mind they're only immigrants when they do something wrong. You know, but if they're here, 10 of them, you know, building Europeans mansion or whatever like that, oh yeah, they're good. They're not immigrants then. They're only immigrants when they claim they did something wrong. Right? That's just what it is. You know, the victor is the one who tells the story. The victor writes the history books. Right? The victor writes the history books, unfortunately. But again, that's only happening because, you know, Noble Drew Ali came in the 1920s, put our people on game about who we are, our nationality, our birthrights, our religion, who our foremothers and forefathers were, you know, the line of descendancy that we came down, not just us, everybody. And then they assassinated him, got him out the way, and now here we are talking about Mexicans are immigrants. When that's a fraud. The only immigrants here are modern Europeans, because this is not their land. They came here, they occupied, they colonized. Same thing that certain people did to Canaan, that they call Palestine today. Same thing. Occupied, kicked people out their own house, took their stuff, and now they're pretending like they're the authority because some other immigrants are backing them and saying, yeah, we support them. We'll send them 90 million in aid to keep colonization going. And all this stuff is going on. All of this is going on because they got Noble Drew Ali out the way in the 1920s. So here we are. Here we are. And then the unconscious Moors playing games with Moors, wanting to debate Moors about something, when their incompetence is why these people could say that indigenous people are immigrants and all that. The Moors who are unconscious, that call themselves Negro, Black, Colored, African, came over here on a slave ship, because of their ignorance, because of their incompetence, because of their lack of light, which is knowledge. The people who, like we were talking about earlier, that have the babies naked on their crest and all that stuff, right? Those are the ones who are the real immigrants. So don't fall for it. What is the sister city of Morocco to your city? So all that sister city stuff or whatever like that, that's corporate activity, because we don't deal with cities. But the sister city, because it's not my city, I don't claim cities, we claim territories. But when they talk about sister city, interestingly, Chicago is the sister city to Toronto, which is very interesting that it's Chicago. Right? That's the sister city. And those mayors meet all the time. All the time. The meeting is a regular thing. Chicago and Toronto. Any other questions? Just throw them in the chat. We're here for at least another hour and a half. So whatever questions you have, bring them out. And you'll definitely get some answers, because we don't need to be out here playing games with you. Which is what ancient imperial domain? What do you mean? You have to elaborate on your question. Which is what ancient imperial? What do you mean? Like the jurisdiction that we're in is Canaanland. Canaanland is part of Morocco. This is the Moroccan Empire. I don't know about cities and states and provinces and all that stuff. I don't know what that is. We just put that on mail-in correspondence so mailman knows where to send the stuff. Postal codes, zip codes, and all that stuff. All that is corporate things. We don't do corporate. This is Morocco. Canaanland is Morocco. Any more anywhere in the Americas, they're in Morocco. This is the Moroccan Empire. So that's the ancient imperial domain, Morocco. How can I join the temple when there isn't one close to me? Should I get my paperwork from RV Bay Publications? There's always a temple. You might not see it visible, but there's a temple. Now, we would say check the temple first, wherever it's at. You know, if there's not one in your surrounding area, there's one 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. There's temples. Don't be fooled that there's no temples. Right? There are more science temples. What are they doing there? I don't know. You're going to have to go check and see. Right? So, for example, there was no temple here, so we went to Mecca, to the temple there. And then that's how we got connected with the Moorish Divine and National Movement, because Noble Juali even wanted temples here, and they assassinated him and got him out the way in the 20s. So there was no temples here, even though Juali wanted temples here. So because there was no temples here, then went to Mecca and got our charter and came back here and set up temple here, and now there's temple here. And yes, when you go to rvbaypublications.com, you go to judicial proclamation and name correction, there's paperwork there. What we suggest that you do, and this is what we tell all Moors, and this is the practice of Moors. The practice of Moors is you get that paperwork and you don't go filling stuff out. You get that paperwork and you study that paperwork. Study that paperwork. Right? Study that paperwork. In studying that paperwork, you're going to get some clear reference points as to what your mindset is supposed to be when you get into this information. So, for example, the Moors would take the judicial proclamation paperwork, get their law dictionary next to them, get their etymology dictionary next to them, get their, whatever law dictionary, get their online dictionaries, and they're going to start studying the paperwork. Studying the paperwork. Because remember, the problem that a lot of Moors have is that they don't want to detox the nigger before they start proclaiming their nationality. They want to proclaim their nationality tomorrow, when you should be detoxing. When you find out that you're a Moor, okay, let's say you're 30, right? And you find out that you're a Moor, 30 and 1 day old, you find out that you're a Moor. There should be a 30-year detox to get all the nigger out of you before you start saying that you're a Moor. Now, some people are going to fast track that because of energy, because of, sun sign, moon sign, rising, who their mom is, who their dad is. It depends, right? Some Moors fast track. Some Moors are going to read, I'm not Negro, black, colored, and light bulb's going to go off right away. Immediately, light bulb's going to go off, and then they're going to start applying the fact that they're a Moor. They're not Negro, black, colored. Some people, it's going to take them a while to get rid of calling themselves black, calling people black. People calling them black, them not correcting it, them just letting it slide because, they don't want to make people feel bad. And all that is the nigger stuff that you got to detox. Right? So the individual, him or herself, is going to have a eureka moment with regard to this information. Whenever that eureka moment happens, there's no timeline, right? But that instant is going to happen. That time when you're sitting there reading, studying, who knows? You might be reading some whatever, or you might be walking down the street and see something, and it hits you. Your pineal just opens, and everything all of a sudden starts making sense as to why. Oh, that's why. You start getting into that. You start getting there, then yes, it's that time, right? The wake-up call. The wake-up call is internal. Right? It might be a lecture that you're listening to. Somebody says something, and it cracks you open. Right? There's so many different ways that you can get hit, but until you get hit, and trust me, there's a thing that happens in your brain, right? Something happens inside your head with this information, right? Something happens inside your head. And then when it happens, everything is just going to be clear. You're not going to have any questions anymore. You're not going to be wondering about whatever. Everything is going to make sense. At that point, that's when you should start saying, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go do this process and proclaim my nationality and whatever. And like I said, there's no timeline for that to happen. You could be in doubt right now, and in 2 days, something taps you, and you get to that new way of thinking, where you start realizing, right? And when I say start realizing, it's like if anybody ever look at it like if you ever had stomach flu, or if you had any type of flu or whatever, and you're at that place where you could feel it coming on, right? And you feel it and you know that it's coming on, and then it hits you, and then you're in this place where your head's groggy, you got headache, coughing, sneezing, boogers everywhere, don't want to move, chills, bones aching. And then as you heal, and as you heal, you start feeling the things getting lifted, and you start feeling your sight coming back, and your breathing's coming back. Oh man, I could start tasting food again. Oh, the shivers are gone, and then you start, right? So once the detox, the sickness, once the sickness cleans through your system, as soon as the sickness goes through your system, right? Which is the Negro, black, colored, African, Indian, Hebrew, whatever it is, whatever lie that we adopted as a reality. As soon as that detox happens and it leaves your system, a light's gonna go off that, oh wow, I'm better. Oh, I could breathe. And then you're not even thinking about sick anymore. Then you go back to your regularly scheduled living. All right. And saying all that to say, until that light bulb turns on, you're in darkness. You don't want to be running in darkness. You want to have your little stick with you and your tapping in front of you, because you don't want to, bump into something, you injure yourself. And then bumping into something, injuring yourself is, you think you're a Moor, you're going out there and you're, telling people, yeah, man, we're Moors, and then nobody's hearing what you're saying, and you're getting frustrated because, well, they should be hearing this and all that stuff. All that stuff is the nigger jumping out of you. Because there's no need to be frustrated with anybody who doesn't get this. Then it's not for them if they don't get this. There's no need to, you tell them and they have to hear what you're saying because you said it or something like that. No, it doesn't have to go like that. It doesn't have to go like that. All right. Remember that this is your personal journey. This is your path that you're walking. So you on the path. You on the path is for you on the path. It's not for anyone else. It's for you. It's for you. And then as soon as it makes sense to you, then it's time. But until it makes sense to you, if you got 20 questions, you've been in this, say you've been studying for 5 years, and you got 50 questions still, then you're not ready. Because one of the lessons is that man knows not by being told. Man knows not by being told. Then how man's supposed to know? Man knows by studying. And if people spent more time studying, going to the next question, do you have a study routine or you mostly make time? Right? Studying has to be, I can't remember who it was. I was watching somebody, like some prominent whoever. I can't remember who it was. And they were talking about 10 pages a day. 10 pages a day. And that's for the people who are reader people. You might not be a reader. You might be a visual learner. All right. So then, equate pages to how much ever long it takes you to read a page. All right. So if it takes you, 2 minutes to read a page, then, you should have at least, an hour of visual stimulation. Right. So let's say you're watching lectures. You should be able to get an hour in. I mean, an hour, no interruptions, no phone, no whistling in the back, no children bothering you. Hour of your time. Now, where are you going to get this time to do this? People got jobs, people got stuff they got to do. You know what I mean? Then, yeah, you're going to have to make time, because studying is essential to you being who you are. Right? Studying is a very important part. That's why, again, we say use things around you, like judicial proclamation papers. Study that. Don't just get it, fill it out. Study it. All these more sites that we send people to. rvbaypublications.com, khalifamedia.com. Start buying books off those things. Right? Start buying books. And if you buy the books, again, 10 pages a day, that's nothing. If you do 10 pages a day, you'll be all right. Just like they say, in order to master something is 18 minutes a day. That's it. You focus 18 minutes a day on plumbing, you'll be a better plumber than majority of people out there. Like 18 minutes a day. Right? You focus. And like we're saying, no interruptions. So let's just backtrack. And we got into this information about Moors and Moorish history and knowing who we are and law and metaphysics and all these different subject matters that are all relative to us knowing who we are. I was working at a place where I was on the computer all day. Right? So while the work screen's open, that's half the page, and then the other half, or half the screen, the other half of the screen was RV Bay Publications. And do some work, do some RV Bay Publications. Do some work, do some RV Bay Publications. Now that was 8-hour day. Right? Lunch break, eating some food, doing the RV Bay Publications. Break, 15 minutes, RV Bay Publications. Go home, eat, do whatever it is I gotta do, get all my stuff done so that I could sit back and RV Bay Publications. And then that was a routine for probably 3-4 years. That was a routine. Right? And in the 3-4 years, you're also, getting reference points of books, buying books or whatever like that. So you might switch from the website to, the book came, all right, let me read this book or whatever like that. You start reading this book. There was a time for about maybe a 6-month, 7-month stretch where you get into this, when they say, well, you're gonna go down the rabbit hole and all that stuff. Okay, so you get in the rabbit hole, and then you pop out the rabbit hole, and then the sun's coming up. Right, you pop out the rabbit hole, sun's coming up, and then you got to work in an hour, and then you just got caught up. You just got in the zone. You start reading at 10 p.m. and you just get in the zone, and then you look up and the sun's coming up, and then you got to work an hour. And at that point, it was like, well, you know what I mean? Well, it is what it is. I guess I'll be tired at work today because there's no putting this stuff down. It becomes so part of your everyday routine, So then it transitioned from, well, damn, I can't just be getting 1 hour sleep every night because this information's so damn good. I can't get 1 hour sleep every night. So, you know what? We're gonna start converting all these lectures to MP3 and get me an MP3 player. This is when MP3 players were around before people started putting stuff on their phone. And then you get the biggest MP3 player that you can get, load that up with audios, and then now you're just listening to that all day. Forget music, forget whatever else, listening to lectures every day, all day. And then that went on for a good 3-4 years, right? Of just listening to audios. Your lecture, we're not even watching anything. Immediately download it, MP3, put it on the MP3 player. Right? Because you're gonna be the subconscious mind is a powerful thing. Because once you do the audios, you can sleep. You can go to sleep, put the stuff in your ear, just go to sleep. And you will retain it. Guaranteed you will retain it. Don't worry about, man, I woke up, oh man, the thing's done. I don't know what, don't worry about all that. When the time comes, that stuff that you ingested, it's going to present itself. You don't know where this stuff is coming from. All you know is that somebody popped up on you with some question about something, and then you know the answer. Right? But it does have to become, studying has to become a routine. It has to be something that's implemented into your life. That there's going to be a section of time, how much ever time it is that you can do it for, where you're going to be livicated to getting this information in you. However you get it in you, audio, video, reading, however you get it in you, there has to be a bracket of time that you're strictly devoted to getting it in you. Because getting the information in you is also part of the detox, which is why a lot of Moors that are really studiers, they can fast track and proclaim because they're ingesting more now as a Moor than they did when they were Negro black colored. And then the stuff that they were digesting as Negro black colored is so watered down. It's so watered down that the information that you're getting now is just washing away all that Negro black BS that you learned, whatever it was. You know, a good one was the realization that we didn't come over here on slave ship. Now, majority of people who are in the Americas, especially people in the South, they already got that lesson from pork chop eating grandma, who told them, we're not from Africa, we're Indians or whatever, right? They already got those lessons. So when they get into this, it's like, oh, snap, slap the forehead, grandma was right and all that stuff or whatever. I can't believe grandma was right. She ate pork and all that. How is she right? How she know what the hell's going on? You know? Right? So the studying is a part of this. Don't be fooled by these people with their, they're gonna do it for you type of mindset. No one can do this for you. This is you. All they're supposed to be giving you is a reference point. Right? All they're going to be giving you is a reference point. And then you're supposed to take that reference point and expound on that reference point that you were given. So whether it's a book, whether it's a page, whether it's a word, whether it's a statement, whether it's a sit down for an hour, talk to a Moor, you should, be taking notes and all that stuff so you can go check after. Right? Why are you affectionately referred to as Custom L by some Moors? So when before we got into this information, I was in the conscious community, whatever, right? Out here doing lectures and all that stuff, right? And one of the realizations for me that our people are sellouts was Fred Hampton, Black Panthers, Marcus Garvey, UNIA, and El Haj, right? All these people murdered by their own for being a sellout. Got into the Moorish paradigm, and logically, you think the sellout stuff is over. You know what I mean? Like we made it. You know what I mean? There's ain't nobody gonna sell out what Noble Drew Ali brought. Like who's gonna sell this out? Come to find out, Noble Drew Ali got sold out by his own. So upon realizing that traders have no holdback, they're gonna sell out anybody. I just took it as, well, everybody must be a sellout then. Because there's no way that, we're out here at Canaanland, we get Noble Drew Ali's stuff, and then we're talking about, dealing with him in his full capacity as the prophet, and everything that he brought is right and exact, and there's no need for us to, sell him out. And then to see people selling him out for measly, for stones and pebbles and stuff like that, they're selling out. So I just devoted my energy to people who are sellouts. They're going to get called out. And once I found out that they're a sellout, and nobody's really talking about these people that are sold out or whatever. I said, okay, well, we're gonna start just cussing all these people off, because why are they selling out? It's absolutely asinine for people to be a sellout. It's asinine for people to sell this out. Now, you could sell out all the Negro black color stuff. I get selling that out, but to sell out Moorish nationality for a good 2 years, I was hot, for real hot, like hot, and people just used to get cussed out just because, people would be sending me things. Oh, you ever see this video or whatever? Oh, what do you think about this? Well, these Moors are saying this, and those Moors are saying whatever. Right? And we put everybody on Front Street, and then we started to put the bats to these people, metaphysically, spiritually, and it became a thing that I was known for. That, hey, you got an issue with some Moors or whatever? Don't worry. You let Cujo know. He'll put them on blast. He'll put them on blast with no remorse. Right? Zero remorse. Because I don't take treason lightly. Because people should die for treason. But we can't go over there killing people. I'm not doing any time for these sellouts and traitors, because their girl's gonna go snitch or something like that because we took them in the back and threw them off something. So I don't die myself of an aneurysm or something like that, holding in this anger for these people selling out the prophet, selling out the movement, and then playing around as if everything's cool because we got a holy covenant, and Drew Ali said learn to love instead of hate, and love is the first principle and all that stuff. I release all that stuff by just cussing people, and then where whatever, however it goes. So there was people, one of the Moors near Virginia. This was a good example. One of the Moors near Virginia. This was, you can just go on to YouTube, look it up. Cujo L near Virginia, when I lectured out there. Met one of these Moors who got cussed out, right? And we were just chilling. I can't remember where we were. We were somewhere. We were just in a parking lot, just there chilling. And one of the Moors, man, you don't remember me, huh? Like, nah, you need a refresh. You gotta let me know. I don't know. Yeah, man. When I first came into this, man, you freaking cussed me out, man, because of whatever. I can't remember what he did. He did something. Or said something. Cussed him out, man. Man. Really, man, I wanted to kill you. I wanted to kill you. I was like, if I see this Moor right here, I'm gonna kill this Moor. And then he said, but you're actually right. You're actually right. And I think it was like, I told him he's a bitch ass nigger or some shit. And he was like, yeah, you know what? You were right. I was a bitch ass nigger. I can't believe I used to think like that or whatever. That was the best thing that you ever did to cuss me out, because it actually made me look at myself. And when I looked at myself, I saw the ugliness that I was. And I was so embarrassed at myself, because you were actually right. This effing guy is right about me, mad at himself. And then he became, he was really in this after he came to his senses. You know, it was really in this. So, you know, and again, you know, like we were saying, with grandma and her breaking the stuff down to you, right? So, you know, our background is the islands, you know, and you get your ass beat. There's no go in the corner, you know, we're taking away your PlayStation and all that stuff. You get your ass beat. That's just what it is. Right. So I'm from that generation. I'm from the generation of you get disciplined. You don't get your you know, to not get this, or you don't get to play with that, or you know, and then it goes down the line. If you mess up and you're at auntie's house, auntie's gonna bust your ass. Then you're gonna go home and get your bust ass by your parents. Come from the generation of at school they bust your ass. They didn't say slavery and all that. They're acting like a slave master and all that stuff. No, that was discipline. That was discipline. Right? Go pick a whip. You know, I'm from that generation. Or you do something messed up, you fail a test or something like that, go pick a whip. And then you got to go outside, and then they have the tree right there, and then you have to pick your whip. And if you pick some little scrawny whatever, you're going back out again to go pick a proper whip. Right? For you to get your ass beat with. And then you go home, then you get your ass beat at home, because why are you even at school getting your ass beat? Why do you got to go pick a whip at school? You're not just, like, what the hell were you doing? Right? And this is, let me see, this is before junior high school. This is before junior high school. Oh yeah, Moor said it. You know, nails dirty, you get your ass beat. Shoes not shiny, get your ass beat. Shirt all wrinkled and all that stuff. You woke up late, didn't get to iron your shirt, ass beat. You know, and some people, you know, they just didn't have an iron. You know, there was no steamer and all that stuff back then. You know what I mean? It's iron or you know, you're in trouble. You know, there's no throwing stuff in the dryer, get the wrinkles out. You know, everything that you wash it, anything that you get is coming out with wrinkles. You know, so the generational lessons is why I take it the same way with Moors when they come into this. Right? We're not here to play any games. This is not about games. Right? If you're not qualified, you shouldn't even be talking. Shouldn't be putting out any videos, putting out any information, nothing like that. Just to go study, because you're just causing confusion, putting out stuff. Because then you're gonna have to retract what it is that you put out, because you know it was wrong info or whatever the case is. You know, right? And it's a real thing that you know, because of love, the first principle, and Moors feel that they can't be disciplined, or they shouldn't be disciplined because love is the first. No, once you're in error, you get your ass beat. There ain't nothing, like we said, whether you're at auntie's house, uncle's house, grandma's house, friend of the family's house, whatever. If you mess up, they have the authority to beat your ass. At least give you some raps on the knuckles with the ruler or something. Something. You're not getting away with nothing. Right? You're not messing up and then getting away with nothing. You're gonna get something. You know, and that's just the discipline that you deserved. You know. And then the will is that you learned from the lesson, you learn from the ass beating, and then you never do that stuff again. You know. And then some people have to learn the hard way. You know? Some people have to, you know, they have to get the buckle side of the belt to learn. Some people have to get the leather belt while they're in the shower to learn. You know, they don't just take the whip to the hand and say, and they learned, you know, they're going to go play games again right after they got their ass beat. All right. Then we step up the discipline, you know. But it's all part of why shit is messed up today, even because there's no discipline. Right? As soon as those Moors murdered Noble Drew Ali, all the members sure went to all those Moors. As soon as they say, "Oh yeah, Noble Drew Ali reincarnated," rope around his neck, drag him out, stone him to death. Any more reincarnated prophets around here? Yeah, Noble Drew Ali came back through me, rope around him, take him down to the thing, throw him off the bridge with the rope around his neck. Any more reincarnated prophets? Well, we're not reincarnated prophets, but we're, you know, and they make up some fake title or whatever. Oh, drag them out. But again, if the members don't know, if the members are incompetent because they're just on some listening, they're not studying, which is what happened in Drew Ali's time, that the members weren't studying. There's, oh my God, we have a prophet. Oh, we're saved. We don't got to do nothing. Prophet's gone. Now what? Same thing happened to Dr. York. You tell Nuwapians, yeah, we're Moors and Nuwapi, a nation of Moors, and we got birthrights, and they're building pyramids and all this stuff. We want to get him out the way, and then what happened? Here they come, bulldoze out the land, gave the land right back to the colonists. Gave right back to the colonists. Right? Because they didn't have the knowledge. They were lacking in the studying, even though Dr. York told them, wear your mask of God. You're God. It ain't about me. Gave them the mind book, gave them the potential book, gave them holy tablets and all that stuff. And then tablets are medicine. And then the holy tablets had Moorish Quran in there and everything. And these people still play games. Still play games, right? What would be the ideal situation for Moors in the next 50 and 100 years? In the next 50 years, so we're not going to say next. Let's just say we're in the 100 years right now. 2023. 100 years ago, 1923, Drew Ali was around. What was he doing? 1923. All right. So that's what we should be doing. In 24, what was Drew Ali doing 24? And then once we get to 29 and his assassination, then we could start talking about what more should be doing in the next 50 years. Right? Because we're after the time of the prophet. Right now, we're in the time of the prophet right now. 100 years later. So there should be Moors with newspaper or something like that, right? We did that. But, you know, it wasn't supported. So we said, okay, forget that. We can't deal with that because people don't support it anyways. You're just going to have papers stacked up to do nothing with. Go ask Brother Abdullah and go ask Grand Sheik Nature and all these other Moors who tried to do newspapers already, right? Because the people aren't ready. There should be some type of institutions that are Moorish, schools, temples, study groups, whatever it is, right? Everything that businesses, everything that Moors were doing in 1923, Moors today should be doing. And like I said, once we get to 2029, now we could talk about what should we be doing for the next 50 years for Moors. Right? One of the main things is having those institutions so that people could learn, especially the women and the children. Because the women She's going to teach the children in the womb, and then the children, they're not tainted, so they can absorb the information and, have it at their age as children, instead of like us 30, 40, 50, we're finding out that we're Moors. Right? So I would even say we're at the 50, the next 50 years and 100 years, what we're going to do yet, because we're still in the time of Noble Drew Ali. We should be doing, we should be imitating the Prophet at this point, because we're still, we're still there. 23, we're right in it. We're right in it right now, where we had everything. Everything was about to be over. It was about to be checkmate. Right? Everybody should be a member, if not a member, supporting some more science temple out there 100% with whatever it is that you have in your faculties, bringing that with you to the temples, to the Moorish institutions. Whatever's Moorish that's going on, that's doing stuff right and clean and pure, put your finance, put your energy, put your time, put anything that you have into that. Right. That's right now, because 1923, people were part of the temple. People were having their businesses. People were not just being a parrot of Noble Drew Ali, but they were actually putting in work. You can go to the Moorish literature or the Moorish Guide archives and then see all the different ads and all that stuff that were in the paper, to show that Moors were active back then. Moors weren't just, some temple Moors and, go to the temple, and then after the temple, they ain't doing nothing Moorish until temple time again. Right? What is Dr. York in prison for? They say Dr. York's in prison for some molestation or whatever. Interestingly, Polite's in prison for the same stuff, and then he's a student of Dr. York, right? And you already know they buried him under the jail, 175 years or something like that Dr. York got. Right? But we know that he was their agent, whoever, even though they had the Wapian Nation of Moors Constitution, and they were getting land given to them by people near Georgia. They were getting land given to them because they realized that this individual's onto something. They're building pyramids and all that stuff. If they didn't get him out the way, how much stuff would have been built up? And then keep in mind that all those people who said that, he did stuff to them or whatever, they recanted their stuff, and then they said that it was his son, Jacob York, who was really the pimp and the pusher of the pedo stuff and all that. Right? Keep in mind that people took their statements back after they realized that it was an operation to stop this thing, which again goes back to same thing with Noble Drew Ali. Cut the head off and another head doesn't grow back. Excellent. Perfect. Right? What happened? New Black Panther Party. Khalid came out, told them that they're Moors. He's a Moor. Got sense enough to know that he's a Moor. Got him with a brain aneurysm. What that? All these new Black Panther wearers went right back to being black after their general Khalid Muhammad just told them that we're Moors. Right? What did they do? What El Hajj do? went, said Malik El Shabazz, started putting the people on human rights. We're about to go to the UN and all that stuff. Cut the head off. Then what? All these people went right back to being nigger. Went right back to being nigger. Right? So it's all about you knowing. Don't be waiting for Grand Sheik to do whatever and Grand Governor to do whatever and Grand Secretary to do whatever. What are you doing to assist them in their grandness? Are you assisting them in their grandness? Or are you sitting back waiting for them to do some stuff and then so you to jump on it? How about start assisting them so that they can do some of their grandness? Right? Assist them. It's needed greatly. Right? Email questions. What is a Grand Sheik, and is there an age limit to be a Grand Sheik? What are the qualifications of becoming a Grand Sheik? If someone called themselves black, let's say 2 weeks or 6 months ago, or even a year, do they qualify to be a Grand Sheik? If someone finds out they're a Moor at the age of 30, how long should they study until they can tell someone how to be a Moor? The incident with Rise of the Moors, is there any evidence showing how they were able to be on the highway with heavy artillery and only receive 1 year jail time? Right. So what is a Grand Sheik? And is there age limit to be a Grand Sheik? What are the qualifications to become a Grand Sheik? So to be a Grand Sheik, you have to be elected. So somebody has to say, hey, we want you to be our Grand Sheik. It should be a body politic that agrees on who this Grand Sheik is. And then when you're talking about the qualifications of Grand Sheik, if you go to RV Bay Publications, they have a book over there called Administrative Functions. And Administrative Functions has all the different titles and what the duties of all these titles are. Now, make sure that when you go and you read this, that you're able to accept the load that comes with these titles, because this is not some, majority of people, if you give them Grand Sheik, in 6 months, they're going to quit because of all the pressures that is on these titles, especially now in the state that the Moorish paradigm is in, right? This is not some, this is walking on coals, not walking in the beach on the sand and all that stuff. This is walking on coals, barefoot. So you're ready to walk on coals barefoot, then you're ready to be Grand Sheik. If you're not ready to walk on coals barefoot, like Juali said, don't even grab the gospel plow. Leave it to somebody who has the iron foot bottom to be able to walk on the coals barefoot, right? So some of the qualifications, for example, office of Grand Sheik is of the highest order and is the highest officer in our Moorish Muslim society. Office of the Grand Sheik or Grand Sheikess is that of our head governmental officer and religious minister. He or she is responsible for Islamism law being taught as Prophet Noble Juali received authorization to teach. Ism is a suffix of nouns and means a devotion to, an adherence to, and the characteristics and beliefs relative to systems of learning, actions, and behavior. These are promoted and acted upon for the good of society, and thus Moors are guided by the virtues of the same. Teaching and instructing on civics, symbolic rights, Moorish rules of conduct, 5 principles, scepter representing sovereign rights of the people, our authority, charters, Holy Quran Circle 7 of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Divine Constitution and Bylaws, Constitution for the United States of America, Republic, the supreme law of the land. All of these foresaid remedial instruments of law are civilization's tools. The Grand Sheik or Grand Sheikess is garbed in the robe of her office, Moorish attire, when teaching in the temple. Grand Sheik or Sheikess demonstrates legal and lawful aspects of all issues, presides over all meetings through his or her committee chairpersons, appoints all committees, casts votes, has the casting vote in all cases of a tie, signs and seals all authorized, legal, lawful documents presented, must respect the services rendered, ordained to work in the public ministry, handles governmental affairs, Grand Sheik or Sheikess, head Moorish representative, walk in the path which he has opened before thee, shall greet one and all after the closing of each meeting, has a national aspect to his or her office, as well as divine, assumes relative to president, dignity, majesty, chief executive, and then pages go on with all the different titles. All right. So what is it? It's the highest order. Is there an age limit to be that? Once they're voted and they're qualified, then they're it. I would say, you obviously have to be an adult. You ain't putting no child up there unless, the child has a liaison or somebody working with them. So, for example, the Prince of Uganda, when he took the throne, he was under 18, but, dad transitioned, so he took the throne, you know what I mean? And when he became of age, then he could start handling stuff. Hopefully the liaison is going to be somebody who would show them the ropes properly so that they don't go messing stuff up or whatever, right? But it's a real deal. If we're playing, who should be it and all that stuff, you don't want to just throw anybody in there. You want to make sure that, they're loved by all, all people know of their good works that they're doing. Nobody can say, oh, well, that granny, oh man, well, he is or whatever like that and all that. Right? We got the if someone calls themselves black 2 weeks, 6 months ago, or even a year, do they qualify to be Grand Sheik? No, they're not detox yet. Right. So if let's say somebody says, well, a body of Moor say, well, we want them to be Grand Sheik. And then, you find out in 2 years, oh, well, we shouldn't because, he's doing nigger stuff or she's doing nigger stuff, right? Then that error was on the people who voted them because they didn't fact check whoever it is. Right? They didn't check whoever it is that they put in the position. No different than when you go for a job. You're going to have an interview. You're not just getting the job because you say you're qualified. They're going to give you an interview. You're going to get tested to see if you know what you're talking about. And once you know what you're talking about, okay, now we can say yay or nay. You're not just throwing up there because you like him. Or we like him, so we want him to be the whatever. No, it doesn't work like that. So, for example, with me being Grand Sheik, I was tested. And then in tested, they realized that the only thing that I was missing was Drew Ali's lessons. But everybody else's lessons I got because we came from the conscious whatever. Right? And then they also saw that it was prophecy because They pulled out the article. Noble Drew Ali wanted temples where you live at. And if there's no temples there, and then you're here right now saying that you're interested in the Moorish movement and all that stuff, and then you're from the place where Noble Drew Ali said he wants temples, then this is prophecy. So it would be dumb of us to not give you a charter and give you everything it is that you need in order for you to set up what Noble Drew Ali wanted set up there. Right? If someone finds out they're a Moor at age 30, how long should they have to study until they can tell someone how to be a Moor? Right? So if you found out you're a Moor at age 30, again, you should be detoxing until the light bulb goes on. When the light bulb goes on and this stuff makes absolute, and then look up absolute in the law dictionary. If this makes absolute sense to you, then you can start putting people on game about what this is. Until this makes sense to you, don't be going out there telling anybody anything. Don't be going out there trying to teach anybody anything. Fix yourself first. It's just like the plane with the air. Put on your mask before you put on other people's stuff, because you got to save yourself first. Right? You're not gonna go diving in to go save drowning people when there's sticks and ropes and all that stuff you could throw to them and pull them out. If you go in there saving people, they're gonna drown you too. And there's many an example of the best swimmer jump in and save somebody and they get drowned too. Whether it's current took them, whether it's choking, they're getting choked out by somebody and all that stuff. So make sure that you have your stuff secure before you start telling anybody else about Moors and we're Moors and all that stuff. Because guarantee, when you start telling them that they're Moors and then you're not ready, when they go out there and then they start saying that they're Moors because you said that they're a Moor, and then they get their ass kicked, they're going to be coming to you and blaming you for it. It was your fault why they got their ass kicked. They're the ones. Because he shouldn't have told me if he didn't know about the, right, when it was really on them. All right. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. The incident with Rise of the Moors, is there any evidence showing how they were able to be on the highway with the heavy artillery and only receive 1 year jail time? Now there's many different angles, right? From dealing with Moors with regard to what's going on. The highwaymen who stopped them, right? The highwaymen who blocked off the highway and all that stuff said, oh yeah, those Moors, or whatever the case is, right? They already knew that they had arms and all that stuff pre that situation. They already knew they had more. They already knew, right? So the exercising of the right applies all over Morocco. Because if we're talking about this is Morocco, then we're not talking about borders and well, in this state you could do this, and in that state you can't do that, and whatever. All across the board, the United States of America Constitution is the supreme law of the land. The supreme law of the land is right to bear arms, right? Not right to go murder anybody that you want, not right to shooting in the air because you feel like it and you got bullets. You have a right to bear arms. You have that right, right? You have a right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. You have a right to that. You have a right to face your accuser. Right? You have a right to these things. Because they have the right, because the right exists, and all these people take an oath to the Constitution, they got a year for some slap on the wrist, make it look like, oh, well, we're disciplining them because they shouldn't have did this, they shouldn't have did that. Right? What we should be looking at is how come after the year they're still not back exercising the stuff that they were exercising before. That's what we should be looking at. Because if they only got a year, then obviously there's no criminal stuff going on, especially if they're in the jurisdiction where they have the right and the right exists and they've been exercising. Then they should be back exercising, at least in their jurisdiction. They should be exercising. But then again, when we look at the other side of it, right, and we look at, for example, when T.I. got caught with the guns, and he's supposed to have did 10 years or something like that, and he only did 1 year. People are looking at that funny. Like, hold on a second, how come you didn't get 10 years? Right? So there's these different angles that it's going to be looked at by different individuals. And the best answer is what they're doing now. So like Brother Lanray brought up, he got kidnapped for showing a nationality card and not having a license. When he got kidnapped and then he got released, he didn't go get a license, or he didn't stop exercising, using his nationality card and right to travel card. He went right back to using his nationality card and right to travel card because that's what he does. It's not even a question as to why am I going to stop exercising the right if it's a right. So there has to be a reason why Moorish militia isn't exercising the right after the year. Whether, courts told them that they can't, whether they got some type of orders that they can't, whether they got some type of conditions. If we see you with that, we're going to give you the 10 years. If we see you exercising that, then they should just come out and say that. Well, yeah, when you got kidnapped, what happened was they said, if they see us with the stuff, then we're going to go for 10 years. And that's reasoning enough to say, okay, you know what? Yeah, let's not exercise this thing, because who the hell wants to do 10 years? Right? That's just where it is. So if they were able to exercise the right in their territory with no issues, they go to a different territory, get kidnapped, have to do a year because their territory is saying, well, you can't do that and you can't do this and whatever like that. Then when they got back to their territory, then they should be still doing whatever it is they're doing, at least in their territory, or in all the territories that are lenient with regard to exercising these rights. Because there's no reason to not exercise the right if you have the right. All right. What's needed to be done for mothers to get their houses in order? What is the best elements or steps to take for self-governing and applying lawful remedies for mothers? Where is it mothers should be added within this Moorish paradigm? Right. So what's needed to be done for mothers to get their houses in order? The mothers have to know who it is that they are. So it starts with same thing that we're talking about, especially with the second question. What's the best elements or steps to take for self-governing, applying lawful remedies from others? Goes back to the same thing that we were saying earlier. If you were Negro, black, colored for 30 years, and then you found out about this information, and then now you're the matriarch of the whatever, stop the BS. Go study, put some time in to getting your house, aka zodiac, aka body, etc., in order. So you're gonna get, for example, the Muslim Girls Training Guide. Study that. Don't go out and start telling mothers how to be mothers and all that stuff if you don't even know the Muslim Girls Training Guide. Study that. Go study the Great Cosmic Mother, rediscovering the religion of Earth, which is matriarch or feminine worship, feminine honor. Every woman, especially in the Moorish paradigm, should have the Great Cosmic Mother in their library as a study tool for them to study themselves. Every mother should have Symbols by Mama Zogbe in their library to study for themselves. Every mother should have the Muslim Girls Training Guide to study for themselves so that they can detox all the slut, whore, bitch, whatever stuff that they've been trained to think is normal all their life. They should also go get the Negro Project so they can know without a doubt that the attack is on them. And Negro Project is with Margaret Sanger and all that BS that they were about. Getting the Asiatic woman to abandon herself, abandon her family, abandon her husband, abandon her children, and want to play, feminism crap. So before we start talking about applying remedies because, their heir got taken from whatever like that, and their man is doing this and that, where is she at in her mind? Where is she at in her body and soul? Where is she at? And like we were saying earlier, if you just came into this information as a mother, as a woman, and you've been Negro, black, colored, African, Indian, trauma that you have from your mom that got passed down to you, and then your grandma's trauma that your mom had that passed on to you. Before you pass that stuff on to your daughters, check yourself first. Where should mothers be adept? Mothers should be adept in ridding themselves of generational trauma that's been passed on to them from their great-great-grand to great-grand to grand to mother to them. Figuring all that stuff out first. Once you figure all that stuff out and you know yourself, then you could start talking about applying some remedies. And then also, don't forget, Moor's Quran has the lessons as well for the mothers in order for them to get themselves into a proper place. So we know mothers, for example, who on two sides of the situation, right? Situation where something happened, whatever it was, and the remedy was successful because they tuned everybody out and they went into their little cave and they went and studied themselves and figured their stuff out. And then the other side, where they just ran in there, guns blazing, and then now they're still in the same situation. It's way worse than it was before because they didn't handle their stuff first. So it's absolutely important that the mothers understand who it is that they are. You're going to do that by, one, The Great Cosmic Mother by Monica Drew and Barbara Moor. The Great Cosmic Mother. That's one book you have to have in your library as a woman, especially a Moorish woman. Right? 2, Sibyls by Mama Zogbe. Sibyls, Mama Zogbe. These are must-haves. Right? Muslim Girls Training Guide, which was prepared for the Sisters Auxiliary of the Moor Science Temple of America. Muslim Girls Training Guide by Sister Augustus Bay, revised by khalifamedia.com. When God Had a Wife. When God Had a Wife by Lynn Picknett and Clive Prince. When God Had a Wife. And then to see what these enemies of you have been doing to you for generations, you get the Negro Project. The Negro Project by Bruce Fleury. Then the Negro Project is dealing with Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood, and all the BS that they did to you to have us in the situation where we are right now with these questions relative to what could the mother do? Right? Page 104. Since Sanger considered minorities, and especially blacks, to be inferior, it was only logical then that she target as many of them for elimination as possible. And if she could con a sufficient number of black leaders into going along with her plans and taking their followers with them, so much the better as far as she was concerned. So this is why on the 101 questionnaire, Drew Ali's holding mother. Because once we save her, stuff is over. But she has to want to save herself. A man could want to save her all he wants. Until she realizes her greatness within herself, the BS continues. So it's of absolute importance that she finds herself. And those books that we mentioned are ways, lessons, teachings, tablets, whatever, that she can use to find herself, get her confidence back, and stop serving carnal customs of man and start serving the highest ideals of nature, who's a mother. Don't forget, nature's a mother. And don't forget universe is mother. And don't forget the zodiac is a mother. And don't forget every man's car is a mother. And don't forget the mind is a mother. And don't forget only mothers bring us here. Only mothers bring us here. Like Moor said in the chat, once she figures this stuff out, when she figures it out, which is why the attack is so much on her, which is why the attack is so much on getting her to be masculinized so that she doesn't know her divine feminine power, which is more powerful than any butch stuff that she could try to pull right now. You know, a woman saying give up her feminine self to be a butch is going to save the nation. That ain't happening. They're playing. Because like Serena told these people, the shittiest male tennis player will beat me. The shittiest male tennis player would beat me. So her going over to the man's side is not going to do anything for our people. It's going to do nothing. Waste of time. Right? Embrace your femininity. Because the only way the freedom is going to happen is through mother. Hence, every Wednesday, we do this so that we can get these mothers to get on their programs so they can start learning from mothers, especially mothers who been through the ringer, came out the other side unscathed. Just go. Get the lessons. You got Wednesday. Tonight. 7:30 p.m. rvbaygotoclass@gmail.com. You got Mother Joanna Bay. Holy Quran classes. Every first Sunday. 1 p.m. Free. All you got to do is just push the link. Every first Sunday of the month, 1 p.m. Just push the link. And it's free. Right? Sisters Standing on Law. Every third Sunday, 1 p.m. Free. It's for mothers to just go learn. Just sit back and learn. Get the energies flowing through you again. The ancestral energies that are needed for us to get out this mess that we're in. It's needed. All right. Mother Karima Bay, every third Monday, 7 p.m. Enlightened Asiatics. Just learning for the feminine energy, to be around feminine energy. And there's some of the feminine energy that's in the chat right now. They can tell you what goes down in these, and nobody has any complaints. Nobody has any issues, because it's about learning. It's about getting themselves right. And people who want to get themselves right, they can go study and they can go learn. You can go MoorishaAmericans.org. They got Sisters Auxiliary. They got Sisters Auxiliary. Same stuff that Moorish Muslim Girls Training Guide. And what is it? Mothers, again, doing whatever it is that they can to try to change the frequency. But like we say, the frequency is going to change when she changes. When she evolves, everything else evolves around her. And it starts with her. And like we said, you know, this is not some far-fetched, far-reaching thing. Everything's in our grasp. It's right there. Arm's reach. Arm's reach. All you have to do is reach out and touch. The salvation is there. But again, mother has to want it. And then when mother wants it, then the sons will defend it. Just ask any son with a mother. They'll tell you how they'll back mom. Not if she's toxic or whatever like that. They back mom. We don't want her toxic. We want her right. We want her in the right energy, in the right frequency. And the right frequency is her knowing her divine power, recognizing it and accepting, embracing it. Because what as for example, with Great Cosmic Mother, right, with the book Great Cosmic Mother, right? Sons are reading that and having a greater respect for mother. Sons are reading that and having a greater respect for mother. So what's going to happen if mother reads it? Mama Zogbe, Sibyls, sons are reading that and having the same light bulb stuff going on with regard to the feminine principle and what it is and what these people did to stop it, to have it where it's at right now in this stagnancy. Where booty hole brown people are winning awards and all that stuff. That's who's winning awards. Right? It's part of the agenda to keep your frequency on the lowest vibration possible. We're talking low vibration. We're talking below base chakra levels. That's where they want her to be at. And honors to all the mothers who realize the BS and are doing something to change it. Honors to you. And honors to all the sons who are doing what they can to realize, to make her realize the power that she has. Honors to all the Moors. Give thanks for another great Q&A, great questions, all the chat questions, all the email questions. Definitely appreciated, because you already know the only dumb question is the one you don't ask. So keep studying. Don't forget, next week, Monday, we're going to be back with Brother Heru for all the psychedelic Moors. All the Moors in that realm. Going to be getting back in next Monday. And don't forget, third Thursday, Canaanland Moors, right here, Sons of Allah. Next week, Thursday, the 19th of October, we'll be here, myself and Brother Mizraimel, getting it in as usual. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Juali. Honors to all the Moors in the chat. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the Moors supporting the Moorish movement, supporting the Moorish science temples. Supreme honors to all. Islam, peace and love.